Hey again. Now we're multiplying polynomials. I'm going to try to get as much in before my kids start coming at me. So when we're multiplying, there's going to be a couple of different ways you're going to be multiplying. You're going to be multiplying by distributing, by foiling, or a binomial times a trinomial, or a trinomial times a binomial. Sorry, just focusing on my pencil. So basically what we do when we multiply the big, aka the coefficient, and add the little, aka the exponent. So I'll write that. Multiply the big. Oops, my pen paper is moving, sorry. Oh, sorry. Which is the coefficient. Which is your exponent. Okay? So here I have 3x times 4x. So technically this is 3x to the first power times 4x to the first power. So 3 times 4, you get 12. X to the first, 1 plus 1 is 2. All right, so then I have 3x times negative 3. So positive times a negative is a negative. Don't ever forget your sign in between. 3 times 3 is 9. Don't forget about your x. And that's your answer. Okay? That's how you distribute. Foiling is the same way. You could think about foiling as a binomial times a binomial, 2 and 2. I don't like to think about it as first, outside, inside, last. Technically, first term, outside term, inside terms, and last terms are how we're multiplying. But I think that if you think about it in this way, that you need to distribute the 3x to both terms inside of this quantity, and then the 2 into, multiply the 2 with both terms inside the second quantity, it's a little bit easier. So you take your 3x and you distribute it just like you did in the problem above. So 3x times x is 3x to the second power. And then we have 3x times negative 7. Positive times a negative is a negative. 3x times 7 is 21. Don't ever forget about your variable, okay? So since the 3 multiplied with both terms in the other quantity, you don't have to use it anymore. Now we're on to the 2. We have 2 times x. Positive and positive is a positive. Don't forget your sign. And that's just 2x. Then you have 2 times negative 7. Positive and a negative will make a negative. 2 times 7, 14. Make sure that you're multiplying here. All right, don't be adding or doing weird things. Most of the time, look to your 2 middle numbers. That's where you'll find your like terms. So we have 3x to the second minus negative 21 plus 2 is negative 19. And then bring down your 14, or negative 14. So usually these 2 on the end, the bookends, just kind of come down with the sign in front of them. That's foiling. We'll do it again with this one. This one has a little bit different things. We got a sign out in front of this one. We have p's and q's. We do it the same way. So 5p times negative 3p. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. P times p, p to the second. And you'd have 5p times 10q. Positive times positive is positive. 5 times 10 is 50. And we have p and q. So you just write p and q. All right. So 5p distributed to both terms on the other side. You're done with it. Now you're on to 2q. Positive times a negative will give us a negative. 2 times 3 is 6. And again, we have a P and a Q, or a Q and a P. It doesn't matter the way we write it. I'm writing it PQ because that's how I have it written there. And now last, we have 2Q times 10Q. Positive and positive will make a positive. Don't forget about your sign. 2 times 10. Q times Q. If there's 2 of them, it's to the second power. Okay? Again, look to your middle for like terms. We have them. We have 50 PQ minus 6 PQ. So I'm bringing down my negative 15 P to the second plus 44 PQ plus 20 Q to the second. And that's that. My daughter's sitting here. She's upset today, but she wants to watch. Nerd. All right, so that was foiling. Here, same thing, except for now each number in the first quantity here needs to multiply with all 3. So we do it the same way though. So we have x times 6x squared, which is 6x to the third, because 1 plus 2 is 3. Then you have x times negative 3x, which is a negative 3x to the second. And then we have x times negative 1, which is just negative x. All right, now I'm done with x. It multiplied with 1, 2, 3 terms. Now you're on to 8. When you multiply with the 8, I'm going to start lining them up underneath their like terms. So what I mean by that is we have 8 times 6x squared, which is 48x squared. So that's going to go underneath the x squareds, just because they're like terms. Then you have 8 times negative 3. Positive and a negative is a negative. So 8 times negative 3x is negative 24x. So that should go underneath that x. They're like terms. And 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. There is no other number just up there, so it's going to go over here to the side. Bring this down, so we have 6x to the third. Negative 3 plus 48 is 45. Negative x, or negative 1x, minus 24x, negative 25x. Bring down your minus 8. And there you have it. And the last one, I don't like to look at it as a trinomial times a binomial. We could do it this way, but I'd rather flip-flop these. So in order to do that, all you do is like you copy paste it in the opposite side, on the opposite sides. You change nothing about it. So I'm writing 2x minus 9 times 4x squared minus x minus 6. I legitimately kept everything the same except for the position that they were in. Everything else now is the same as what we did here. So you have 2x times 4x squared. So 2 times 4 is 8. X times x squared is x to the third. Then 2x times negative x, which is a positive and a negative, so it's a negative. 2x to the second. And 2x times negative 6 is a negative 12. Don't forget about the x. Now I'm done with my 2x. 1, 2, 3 terms. 1, 2, 3 after you multiply. Now we're on to negative 9. Negative 9 times 4x squared is negative 36x squared. That should go underneath this x squared, because they're like terms. Negative 9 times negative x is positive 9x, so it should go underneath this 12x. And negative 9 times negative 6 is positive 54. That goes over here by itself somewhere. So draw your equal sign. I'm doing it with one hand and looking through my phone, so it's awkward. All right, so you bring this down. So I have 8x to the third power minus 38x to the second minus 3x plus 54. And there you have it. Multiplying polynomials.